So Don Jr. is back in the news again, and not because he invented anything, built anything, or did anything remotely productive. No, he's back because he's still doing what he does best, being loud, wrong, and weirdly caffeinated on camera. Every week this guy pops up somewhere, yelling like a malfunctioning car alarm in human form. You ever notice how he talks? It's like someone blended a can of Red Bull, a podcast, and an ego, then hit loop for 45 minutes. His pupils are doing Morse code, his voice is cracking, and his message is whatever fits between his dad's court hearings. This week's meltdown came courtesy of Fox News, where Don Jr. launched another one of his "I'm totally calm" rants about, wait for it, Hunter Biden. Because of course, at this point, Hunter should be charging him rent for living in his head. Don Jr. talks about Hunter like he's trying to win America's next daddy issues. Meanwhile, back on planet Earth, Don Jr. is in court, again. The family that never met a fraud charge they didn't like is being called, appropriately, the crime family. Protesters outside are chanting it like it's the new TikTok sound. Inside, Don Jr. takes the stand in that $250 million fraud trial and actually says with a straight face that his dad is an artist. Yeah, maybe in the same way Banksy is a plumber. Then the scene flips, the camera light turns red, the audience hushes, and Jimmy Kimmel strolls onto his stage with that quiet smirk he gets when he already knows the punchline will land like a knockout. He doesn't shout, he doesn't have to, he just lets the absurdity speak for itself. He reads Donald Trump's latest social posts like he's doing bedtime stories for adults, complete with pauses that let the stupidity echo before dropping the perfect one-liner. Everything he touched was a loser. Boom. Silence. Then, eruption. The audience loses it. That one line sums up weeks of chaos, and Kimmel doesn't even raise his voice. He keeps going, breaking down Don Jr.'s video rants, the ones filmed in what looks like his dad's abandoned golf cart garage. Sweat pouring, eyes darting, yelling about communism while wearing a $5,000 Aspen vest. Bro, you're not Che Guevara, you're Chad Guevara. And yet, he keeps posting. Every clip is a masterclass in self-own. The woke mob, the fake news, the deep state. Buddy, the only deep state you're fighting is your own over-caffeinated bloodstream. Every time you hit record, somewhere a fact-checker gets its wings. That's what makes Kimmel's monologues hit different. He doesn't have to chase outrage. He lets the tape do the talking. He plays the clip, gives the audience 3 seconds of silence, and then slices through the nonsense with a single sentence you can text to your cousin. That's comedy with a purpose, truth in a form people can actually laugh at. Don Jr., on the other hand, keeps trying to be the heir to the Trump dynasty, but you can tell even his dad looks at him like, "I ordered Eric." Every family photo looks like Don Jr. snuck in at the last second. When Trump brags about his kids, it's always, "Ivanka's amazing, Eric's doing tremendous work." And somewhere off camera, Don Jr. is waving like, "Hey dad, remember me?" I swear, Don Jr. is the only man alive who could host a podcast called Triggered and actually mean it. Every episode sounds like a malfunctioning chatbot that learned English at a gun show. It's all pre-workout and paranoia. "We're losing America," he yells, from a ski lodge. That's the thing. Kimmel doesn't have to exaggerate, he just mirrors the madness back. When Don Jr. rants, Kimmel listens. When Don Jr. defends, Kimmel rewinds. And when Don Jr. spirals, Kimmel smiles, because the receipts always do the heavy lifting. Everything he touched was a loser. 8 words that travel faster than any rant. Put that on a mug, print it on a t-shirt, shout it from a balcony. Everyone will get it. And if you want more clean cut-downs like that in your feed, tap like right now so this video escapes the algorithm bubble and hits the timelines, still treating spin like scripture. Because this is just getting started. Don Jr. thinks he's sparring with comedians. What he doesn't realize is, the comedian already won the round. So here's how it all went down. The lights dim, the crowd settles, and Jimmy Kimmel walks onto his stage like a man who's already holding the winning lottery ticket. He doesn't need a cue card, he doesn't need backup dancers, all he needs is Don Jr.'s own footage. Because when your opponent keeps giving you free content, all you have to do is hit play. Kimmel starts with that clip. You know, the one that nearly broke the internet, where Don Jr. is rubbing his gums like he's late for a dentist appointment. The video that had Twitter wondering if someone should check his pulse or at least his Wi-Fi connection. But instead of mocking him outright, Kimmel does what Kimmel does best. He lets the silence work for him. He plays the tape, lets the audience react, and then, with perfect comic timing, drops the softest grenade of the night. Let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe he's just got some fun dip in there. Boom. The audience erupts. No rant, no yelling, just precision. That's the secret weapon. Kimmel knows modern audiences don't need lectures. They need receipts. Show the clip, connect the dots, drop the line, and move on. It's not just funny, it's surgical. And here's the beauty of it. Kimmel never needs to lie. He doesn't twist facts. He doesn't invent conspiracies. He simply holds up a mirror, and Don Jr.'s reflection does all the work. Because let's be honest, the Trump family's PR strategy is chaos. Every time you think the circus is over, someone brings in another clown car. One day, Don Jr. is ranting about woke mobs. The next, he's selling mugs with his dad's mugshot on them, screaming about the deep state between sponsored posts for protein powder. It's like watching a man try to cosplay as a revolution while living in a penthouse. Kimmel sees it, he gets it, and he knows exactly how to dismantle it. He reads Don Jr.'s posts like scripture from the Church of Hypocrisy. "My father is the father of the hotel gym," Don Jr. once bragged. Kimmel pauses, looks at the camera. "That's right, the man who never entered a gym created them. Folks, we are witnessing fitness history." The crowd roars. Then comes the killer transition. Kimmel plays Don Jr. testifying in court, saying he didn't know much about the company's finances, that he relied on accountants. And Kimmel leans in with that smirk. "So, let me get this straight. He's the business genius who doesn't understand business? Got it." The laughter isn't mean, it's relief. It's that moment when you realize you're not the crazy one for noticing the nonsense. That's why Kimmel wins. He doesn't yell the truth, he unwraps it, slowly, cleanly, in a way that feels like you're in on the joke instead of being the target of it. He understands something Don Jr. never will, that silence and confidence destroy arrogance faster than rage ever could. And as Kimmel glides through the segment, you can see it. The rhythm, the control, the ease. Every pause lands like a period. Every joke feels earned. Every truth feels like a punchline. He moves to the next clip. Trump's post-election meltdown. Everything he touched was a loser. That one line goes viral again. It's so clean, so sharp, that even Kimmel's team turns it into a YouTube short, a meme, a headline, because you can't argue with that level of clarity. Meanwhile, Don Jr. is on Instagram trying to fire back, posting shirtless hunting selfies and pretending it's masculine rebellion. But the internet isn't buying it. One tweet sums it up perfectly. He looks like a divorced stepdad auditioning for Duck Dynasty Miami edition. Kimmel doesn't even have to respond. He just plays another clip of Don Jr. shouting about the radical left while wearing a ski jacket that costs more than a month's rent, and the audience laughs before he even opens his mouth. Because they get it. They see the irony. They know hypocrisy when it's that loud. And that's what Kimmel's doing differently from every other late-night host. He's not just roasting for clout, he's giving people a moment of sanity, a reason to laugh at chaos instead of drown in it. He even ends the segment the same way he started, calm, composed, deliberate. He thanks the audience, smiles, and reminds everyone that truth doesn't always need shouting. Sometimes it just needs good timing. If you enjoy these breakdowns that treat you like an adult, hit that subscribe button and keep America fact-checked, one laugh at a time. Because that's the thing, Kimmel's not fighting the Trumps for ratings, he's fighting them for clarity. And clarity, my friend, always wins. So while Don Jr. is somewhere filming his next sweaty monologue about freedom from his luxury condo, Kimmel is quietly collecting another viral moment, another trophy made of truth and timing. One guy's chasing outrage, the other's mastering patience. And guess who's getting the laughs? If you're loving this breakdown so far, smash that like button because we're just getting to the good part. Next up, we dive into Don Jr.'s desperate response, the online backlash, and how the internet collectively said, "Bro, sit down." So the episode airs, Jimmy Kimmel drops his monologue, the audience laughs, the internet clips it, and within hours, boom, Don Jr. is trending again. Not for a new business move, not for charity, but for getting publicly roasted on live TV. And like clockwork, the meltdown begins. You could almost hear his phone vibrating off the table from all the notifications. Mentions piling up, meme pages recycling his face in slow motion. He can't help himself. He opens Twitter, or X, or whatever Elon's calling it this week, and fires off that classic shaky energy tweet. "Lame late-night loser Jimmy Kimmel is obsessed with me. Sad." You can practically see the vein pulsing in his forehead as he typed that. But here's the thing, the more Don Jr. tries to clap back, the funnier it gets. Because every tweet reads like it was written during a pre-workout crash. He says Kimmel's jealous. He says Hollywood's corrupt. He says the media's out to get him. Meanwhile, the only person sabotaging Don Jr. is Don Jr. Within minutes, Kimmel's monologue clips hit 10 million views. People are stitching it, remixing it, turning everything he touched was a loser into TikTok background audio. One creator even synced it to footage of Don Jr. waving at rallies. Perfect timing, perfect humiliation. And what does Don Jr. do? He doubles down. He films another sweaty Instagram video, this time in front of some hunting trophies, calling Kimmel a puppet for the radical left. Bro, you are literally filming from a man cave decorated like a Cabela's catalog. This is not a political war, it's a cry for Wi-Fi. Then he tries to spin it. The woke mob is trying to silence me. No one silenced you, Don. You're the one who hit record. We're just listening. The comment section becomes a battlefield. Half his followers are hyping him up, the usual own the libs crowd. The other half are just dropping laughing emojis, popcorn gifs, and Kimmel quotes. It's beautiful chaos. Then, of course, comes the press. Headlines everywhere. Jimmy Kimmel eviscerates Don Jr. with his own words. Late-night host turns Trump Jr.'s rant into comedy gold. Don Jr. responds and accidentally proves Kimmel's point. Because that's what always happens. He fights the wrong war. He thinks he's battling a comedian. He's actually battling his own footage. And here's where Kimmel really shines. He doesn't even respond directly. He doesn't need to. He just opens his next monologue with that trademark grin and says, "You know you've done something right when Don Jr. starts posting about you after midnight." Cue the audience laughter again. It's like watching a man punch a mirror and then blame the glass. And honestly, there's something almost tragic about it, because beneath all that noise, you can sense what's really going on. Approval hunger. Every video, every rant, every shaky live stream feels like him shouting, "Look, Dad, I'm fighting the good fight." And somewhere in Florida, Trump's scrolling through Truth Social, posting about himself, completely ignoring him. That's the real heartbreak behind the spectacle. A man desperate for attention from someone who never gives it. Meanwhile, Kimmel keeps stacking moments like trophies. He turns Don Jr.'s court clips into punchlines. He reads the Trump's excuses word for word, no exaggeration needed. And the audience can't get enough. At this point, Don Jr.'s outbursts have become a recurring segment. Kimmel doesn't have to look for material anymore. The content comes to him. Every week, Don Jr. hands him another viral gift wrapped in outrage. And when Kimmel finally addresses it again, he does it like a surgeon. Calm, direct, and deadly. He says, Don Jr. keeps trying to prove he's tough, but every time he talks, I hear the sound of a man Googling his dad's approval ratings. The crowd howls. The internet melts down again. Even conservative pages start joking about it. One headline from a right-wing blog reads, Don Jr. should probably stop posting for a while. You know it's bad when your own side's begging you to touch grass. Meanwhile, Kimmel's channel keeps climbing. Every segment, every highlight, every clipped moment boosts him higher in the algorithm because the formula works. Truth plus timing plus tone equals viral gold. And the fans love it. The comments say it all. Finally, someone's saying what we're all thinking. Kimmel's the only one who can roast without rage. This is how you fact-check with a punchline. It's not just entertainment anymore. It's therapy. People are exhausted by shouting pundits and political noise. Kimmel gives them a way to laugh again. That's the irony Don Jr. can't grasp. You can't fight comedy with fury. You can't fact-check humor when humor is based on facts. And you definitely can't out-yell a man who doesn't even raise his voice. By the end of the week, Don Jr.'s rant has faded from the headlines, replaced by new scandals, new chaos. But the clip of Kimmel saying, everything he touched was a loser, keeps circulating like gospel truth. That line has legs. It's short, it's savage, and it's self-explanatory. 8 words that perfectly summarize an entire political dynasty built on denial. If you're enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe, because in the next part, we're unpacking why Kimmel keeps winning, not just in ratings, but in strategy. This isn't luck, it's craft, it's control, it's comedy done with purpose. Here's the truth. Jimmy Kimmel didn't destroy Don Jr. because he shouted louder. He destroyed him because he stayed calm, stayed funny, and stayed specific. While Don Jr. was somewhere yelling into his phone camera about the deep state and fake news, Kimmel was on stage turning chaos into clarity. And that, right there, is the difference between a performer and a professional. See, comedy, when it's done right, isn't just about laughs, it's about translation. It takes the noise, filters out the lies, and hands people something they can actually understand. Kimmel's secret weapon isn't sarcasm, it's structure. He shows you the clip, pauses, and lets your brain connect the dots. He doesn't say, you should believe this. He says, watch, listen, decide. And that's why his punchlines hit harder than any political statement could. Because when you let people witness hypocrisy with their own eyes, it stops being opinion, it becomes fact. That's how he handles the Trump family circus. He doesn't chase their chaos, he catalogs it. He lets the absurdity breathe, and that's what makes it powerful. Think about it. Don Jr. is out there screaming about being silenced into a $2,000 microphone. He's talking about fighting for the working class while sipping whiskey in a ski chalet. He's claiming to be anti-elite while selling freedom hats for $99 a pop. You don't even need a punchline. The contradiction is the comedy. And Kimmel knows that. He doesn't mock the pain, he mocks the performance. The fake toughness, the ego, the desperation to stay relevant in a world that's moved on. He also knows something Don Jr. will never understand. Timing is everything. Don Jr. tries to dominate every conversation by flooding it, posting non-stop, ranting, interrupting, forcing attention. Kimmel does the opposite. He waits. He listens. He picks the exact clip that proves the point and drops the joke like a hammer. That's not luck, that's craft. And audiences feel it. They're not laughing at Don Jr. anymore. They're laughing out of relief because someone finally said the thing everyone's been thinking. That's the quiet magic of Kimmel's monologues. They make the world feel sane again, even if just for 7 minutes. He once said, the truth doesn't need to yell. And that line might as well be the summary of his entire career. When Trump and his circle shout, Kimmel whispers. When they exaggerate, he quotes. When they lie, he replays. And every single time, the crowd gets it. You can't argue with a replay. You can't spin a punchline when the punchline is literally your own words. That's why Trump hates it, because laughter breaks the spell. You can't control an audience that's laughing at you. They've already taken back their power. And Don Jr., he's still trying to prove he's tough, political, influential, anything. But all he's really doing is supplying the next clip for Kimmel's writer's room. It's a cycle now. Don Jr. posts, Kimmel reacts, Don Jr. explodes, Kimmel wins again. The man's turning self-inflicted chaos into late-night gold. And honestly, it's brilliant. But beneath all the noise, there's a bigger point, one that goes beyond jokes and monologues. It's about the role of comedy itself. Because in a time when everyone's shouting for attention, the real voice of reason isn't the one that screams, it's the one that makes you laugh and think. Kimmel's audience doesn't just laugh at Don Jr., they understand him now. They see through the performance, the outrage, the endless victim act. They know that when a man keeps saying, "I'm not mad," while sweating and yelling into a camera, he's definitely mad. That's the Kimmel effect. He gives people clarity disguised as comedy. And it's working. Ratings are up, views are booming, clips are going viral on every platform. Meanwhile, Don Jr. is still on Instagram yelling about elites while being one. That's why Kimmel wins. Because he's not chasing clicks, he's chasing truth. And the truth is funnier than anything Don Jr. could ever script. So next time Don Jr. tries to dunk on Kimmel, remember this. Kimmel's already moved on to the next story, the next joke, the next viral moment. Don Jr. will still be there, ranting, sweating, refreshing his mentions. And if history's any guide, he'll keep doing it, because he doesn't realize he's become the punchline of his own movie. The man doesn't need a rival, he needs a pause button. But until then, we'll keep watching, we'll keep laughing, and we'll keep remembering that sometimes the most patriotic thing you can do is laugh out loud, unapologetically, at people who think they're above the joke, because they're not. No one is. So here's the final takeaway. Kimmel didn't destroy Don Jr. because he hates him. He destroyed him because he exposed him. He turned noise into narrative, tantrums into television, and lies into laughter. And that's something no meltdown can erase. Everything he touched was a loser. That line wasn't just a joke, it was a mirror, and Don Jr. looked straight into it. If you've enjoyed this breakdown and want more fearless commentary like this, do what Kimmel fans always do. Hit that subscribe button, smash like, and drop a comment below with your favorite Don Jr. meltdown moment. Was it the Hunter Biden obsession? The "I'm not high, I'm just passionate" rant? Or the one where he called his dad the father of the hotel gym? Because honestly, they all belong in the highlight reel of delusion. And as long as he keeps giving us content, we'll keep bringing the truth, one laugh at a time. Subscribe to stay tuned. Because in this story, the sequel always writes itself.